10 most venomous fish in the world, then 9, just ahead of the Japanese cuttlefish. So I don't know how familiar you are with lionfish as a species, but they're typically found around the Indo-Pacific, so Indian Ocean towards Central Pacific. So they pop up in places like Indonesia, Australia, the Caribbean, and they're what we call an invasive species. So essentially they don't have any natural predators themselves, and where oceans are starting to warm up in different regions, they're starting to pop up in places where they're not supposed to be. And this results in, because nothing is eating them, they essentially are able to eat everything else unrestricted, and they're free to overpopulate and continue breeding, and their populations boom essentially. So where those regions are, where they're popping up and they're not supposed to be, ecosystems are starting to fail. So they're even popping up in areas around eastern Florida and the West Pacific now, so popping up in places in America. Because nothing is essentially controlling their population numbers, the food chain's kind of failing in those areas. So that's when governments kind of require human intervention, and they encourage people to cull these fish to control those population numbers. So that's one of the few examples where human intervention in the ocean is actually kind of important to maintain that balance, because of things like human-driven climate change are the reason that they're moving into these areas. So it also falls to a human responsibility to control those numbers as well. So essentially what's really important about these, and kind of where there's a bit of misinformation with regards to lionfish, is the idea of poisonous or venomous. And it's really important to know the difference. So essentially you can get food poisoning, but you can't get food venoming, is probably the best way to explain it. So poison is more of a defense mechanism. You can get it through ingestion or absorption. So if you touch something that has a chemical in its skin, your skin will absorb that, you'll get sick. If you eat it, you will get sick. But lionfish are venomous, so that's more of an attack mechanism. So venom is typically injected or sprayed. So lionfish you have to be a lot more cautious of when they're infesting waters, because it's not simply touching them or eating them that's going to affect you. They will actively try and attack you. And how they'll do that is these kinds of needle-like spines that they have forming their dorsal fins. If you look really close up to them, you can see that it's not solid bone that's running down those spines, it's hollow cartilage, and it's very sharp. So all of those individual spines are essentially needles that they can use to inject venom. So yeah, that's pretty much the information on lionfish. If you do have any questions, you want to talk a little bit more about them, please feel free to ask.